you've been that guy sitting in the room with the camera,
Yeah.
being allowed to shoot away when nobody else could.
Right.
So what I want to know is, okay, you're getting to this point
Oh, yes.
where you're
So
becoming Alice Cooper's
assistant.
assistant.
Right.
Yes.
So here's what happens. So I'm doing the Kiss gig, that fizzles, crash and burn. I get a call from Caesar again, or Toby is another guy in our orbit, in the
Yeah.
Alice camp. Somebody
Toby,
calls me from Alice and
sending
says,
good thoughts out to Toby, by the way, to the world right now. There you go, Toby. If you're
"Yep,
listening,
we love you.
stay healthy and get better real quick. So there you go.
We love you. We love you."
Yeah.
So something happens, and Chris Leahy, the guy who took my place, was off doing another tour, and they needed a fill-in tech. So I come in to do it. It was like 2.5 weeks of tour. So I'm in there doing that, and then at that point, I should also mention that during my time while I was away with Kiss, you guys, Alice had gone on tour and was in Russia, and Brian Nelson, Alice's longtime assistant, passed away very
Yeah.
suddenly.
We actually have had a lot of discussions about Brian Nelson of late. He was very instrumental in Sick Things UK.
Oh,
And
yeah.
for those of you that were listening to the podcast last week when we had Kai Ross and Cy Haley and Bill Crow, you will recognize the name Brian Nelson,
Yes.
one of the great assistants of Alice Cooper and one of the great sort of historians of Alice
my God.
Cooper.
He had
So,
just
yeah.
so he was such a collector, but really important in Alice's story. Brian Nelson is very important. But anyway, so Brian had passed away, and so they were having like a few like temporary people. They were trying to fill that void that was left. It was really sudden. So
It's hard to do. I mean, you really have to have a bond with the artist that you're working with, right?
yeah, and Alice is the kind of person who doesn't really like change very much. He does, he likes things to just probably likes consistency. He's a very habit, person.
We even think about it. I've been playing on and off with them since '96,
Yeah.
and our schedule every single year up until 2020
Yeah.
has been exactly the same. Even the years that I took off from Alice folks and I didn't tour, whether I moved to Sweden or whether my son was born or whatever happened,
Yeah.
Alice continually has toured every single
Nonstop.
year since '96 when I joined up with him first.
6
So
or 8
so his
months every year.
routine and his daily routine, folks, is just as regular. I mean,
Yeah.
you could be probably the real source when I ask you this. Is Alice Cooper regular?
No comment. I'm not gonna comment on the
Gotcha
bowel
question.
movements,
There's
so,
my gotcha. That was supposed to be my blabbermouth quote, my brave words soundbite.